Welcome back, YouTube. This is Justin from Parity InfoSec back again with a new box from HackTheBox. Today we're going to cover delivery. Delivery was an easy box put out by IPSec. It's a great starter machine to get your feet wet a little bit with HackTheBox. It's two main techniques that we're going to talk about. One is named TicketTrick. It's just a name came up with by one of the users. We'll show an article a little bit later from Integrity, just to discuss how you can use a Helpdesk to set up an account and using different ticket systems. We're going to go ahead and get our reset password to get into a Helpdesk system using trouble tickets. It'll make a lot more sense once we actually do it. And then we'll go ahead and do some password manipulation, and we're going to mutate that password using some information that we're going to pull out of the MatterMost ticket system. And we're going to modify and show you a couple techniques. This is straight out of the OSCP training book. So this is definitely a skill you want to learn. And then we'll go ahead and use that password list to crack the admin password to get root. So not too much in this box. Browser, we're going to go to some websites. We're going to use the console once we start getting SSH access. And then we'll go ahead and use John the Ripper to do that password work I was talking about. I did have a user on YouTube hit me up asking about my feelings about the recent changes to PwnBox. I'm going to go ahead and use that for this. I know it's unfortunate because this is an easy box. There's not a lot to it. So any box will do. But that's kind of the point of the PwnBox. PwnBox allows you to get on there. It doesn't put your system at risk. And for something like this, it's super easy, few tools needed, something you can just jump in, jump out, be done. I will try and do other videos later on that are going to cover harder boxes. And it really comes down to the same thing for folks that use things like AWS Cloud. You're going to load up a machine, and then you can run a script right after that to install everything that you would use. It takes a little bit of your time, but it will allow you to customize a box that's on an environment. And this one does have internet access. It is a little funky. You have to go through multiple checks in order to get that internet access. But from there, you'll be able to access and pull down anything that you need. So it's a pretty nice system. I'm going to defend it a little bit with those caveats that this is an easy box. Let's go ahead and jump into the PwnBox. So I did bring it up in a previous video. The way that this system works, you launch it from your app dashboard. You have to make sure all your machines are turned off. Any machine that you're trying to go after, go ahead and shut them down. Launch your PwnBox, and then from there you can go back and start any machine that you want to attack. In this case, we're going to do delivery. It's a little bit of a issue if you've got the box already running, so just make sure you do it in the right order. But other than that, you'll just get started up on a box, and it'll drop you here at this dashboard. This dashboard has a file called My Credentials, and it's just giving you the password that they generated randomly based on just a random generation. And when you close this box out, it'll go away. You open a new box, it'll be a new password. So again, super safe. Got some VPN logs down here, some My Data. To hold some information if you want. Get your VPN so your address is sitting up here on this bar all the time. We'll go ahead and run a console. So there's different ways that you can run your console. This one looks very similar to what I run on my box at home, but there are obviously different variants of Parrot and different setups. So let's go ahead and start. Just make this a little bit bigger so that you can see it. And like we always do, we'll start with an NMap. So NMap, this box is 10, 10, 10, 220. We'll just run it real quick. And it says that it's down. Let me double check that box real quick. Oh, wrong IP address, my bad. 222, not 220. All right, so as I said before, you're gonna have SSH, you're gonna have HTTP. If you want, you can run this and just do port 80. And run scripts. You can get a little bit of information here, like you're going to get the title is just welcome. Nothing crazy. Let's go ahead and take a look at that on our Firefox. So as Firefox loads up, it comes preloaded with a bunch of tool sets on here to include Foxy Proxy, already installed. So if you're familiar with that tool, it's ready to go. Right now it's going to be turned off because we don't need it. But we'll go ahead and go to 10.10.10.222. And it's delivery. The best place to get all your email related support for an account, check out our help desk. If you arrow over the help desk, you will see there's an address in the bottom left, helpdesk.delivery.htb. That is a virtual host. So if I go to that host, if I click on it, it's not going to find it because I don't know what it is. We just need to go in, grab this right here, and put it in our Etsy host. So I'm a little frustrated. The Alt tab doesn't work in this box because it's not a real box. It's a window in my personal browser. So a little annoying there, but we'll just do a sudo nano Etsy host. And we'll put this at the end of the config file. So 10.10.10.222. Paste. Oh. Paste it in there twice. All right. We'll go ahead and save that. So now if, did it again. If we go ahead and bring this browser back up and refresh it, we're going to be at this support ticket system. You have the options to open a new ticket, check a ticket status. So let's take a look. If we want to open a new ticket, I'll call this info@ParityInfoSec.com. You don't have to put anything in there. It doesn't have the red star. We're going to go ahead and contact us. We're going to say this is my test summary, test text. Now, there is an option to drop files in here and try and upload. A bit of a rabbit hole. It's not going to work for anybody that's trying to launch a reverse shell using a malicious PHP or any kind of GIF. It's not going to work. It's going to try and download it. So if you upload it, it'll allow you to download it, but it will not run it natively on the server. So it's just not an avenue of attack. We'll finish this out and we'll create that ticket. So when you create the ticket, it gives you a ticket ID. And then it says if you want to add more information in your ticket, you can just email this. So when you email this address, it will put information on your ticket. I'll open this one in a new tab so we don't mess it up. So this one's going to be info@ParityInfoSec. And then this will be our ticket. And we'll pull it up and there's our ticket. Nothing crazy. So you can type in here and do anything that you want, but it's not going to generate any kind of cross-site scripting. You're not going to be able to do a reverse shell from an upload. You're not going to be able to do any of that. So I tell you right now, not exactly worth your time, but you will go back here and I find this one pretty interesting. We got to figure out what to do with this because we need to be able to email this address to get information. The thing we didn't really do is finish checking out the first site. So if we come to the first site, we add this help desk and we also have a contact us page. Love contact us. When you click it, it says for unregistered users, please use our help desk. So it redirects you there to get in touch with our team. Once you have an @delivery.htb email address, you'll be able to have access to our MatterMost server. So the MatterMost server is another server. If you look in the bottom left, it's going to be delivery.htb on port 8065. If we break this down, we'll go ahead and put delivery.htb in here. No. So that's going to be my biggest pet peeve is being able to switch between, I guess you can click down here, It's just not my native way. I like to use commands, just hotkeys, and that's not an option. So that's a little annoying. So I do have some information in here from the last time I went after this box, but we'll go ahead and just say if you go to delivery, that's what happens here. If you click on this, now that we have this, we can go to the MatterMost server, and it takes us here. So you can have an email, password, you can sign in, you can create an account. So I'm going to go ahead and create an account. For this one, I am going to put in this address. This is my email account on delivery.htb. Username, I'll just call it parody, and then I'll make a own password here, and it does require at least 10 characters, upper, lower, number, and it has sent the verify to the email box. So I don't have it in box, but anything sent to this email address goes to the ticket. So if I come here and I refresh this ticket, it is my inbox. So here is this link for delivery.htb with all the information behind it. If I copy this, did not want to do that. If I open a new tab in here, paste it in, hit enter, it went ahead and verified that email from MatterMost, so we can go in here and type in our password, and I have a login. Log out. I can create a team. There's already a team called internal. So when I go to internal, it's actually a chat program. So there's a bunch of different people on here. Root joined the team, root updated, and it says at developers, please update theme before we go live. Credentials to the server are this. So that right there is a set of credentials. We'll go ahead and copy that. For applications, yeah, I'm not quite as familiar with this one as I'd like to be. I guess we'll just use Sublime Text. I'll paste it in here, just so I've got it. All right, also create a program to help us stop reusing the same passwords everywhere, especially those that are a variant of please subscribe. Courtesy of IPSec there, a little shot in the dark. And Root went on to say, please subscribe may not be in RockU, but if any hacker manages to get our hashes, they can use hashcat rules to easily crack all variations of common words or phrases. So this one definitely points to that password mutating that we were talking about. So we'll go ahead and do some deviations off of this please subscribe, but that's not quite where we're at yet. So let's go ahead and drop that here. But I'm very curious about this password right here. So we will open a new window, and we'll just do SSH mail deliverer mail. Let's get this right. Mail deliverer at delivery.htb. Go ahead and paste in that password, and we've got mail deliverer. If I just do an ls-lia, we're going to see a lot of information, but you've got this user.txt, and it does belong to this user, so let's go ahead and cat user.txt. Boom. Got the first user. Awesome. So the delivery aspect of this box is about the delivery of that mail, being able to deliver the password reset, or in this case the email verification, back to that ticket system. So a neat little trick. We'll cover something a little bit later to just show you some more information about that, but for right now, where do we go? Normally I would use my personal box to serve some of the scripts that I use. Usually it's linps, things like that. You can reach out to the internet, like I said, But I'm going to go ahead and stick to native because it's easier. This again is one of those limitations of using the PwnBox. I'll start with a simple PS. We're going to look at any of the processes running. And for here, I'm going to shrink it down a little bit, so I apologize. Maybe I won't shrink it down. Huh. Let's try and run that again. All right, so a little bit more information. If we make it a lot smaller, we'll be able to get even more. We'll get some word wrap, but up here, nothing crazy. These are all pretty basic things. Starts to get into dbus. There's a PHP master process, syslogd, sshd. We know that because we're ssh'd in right now. We know that it's running a www process because it's running those web servers. It is running MySQL. So we talked a little bit about that at the beginning. So we'll come back to that here in a minute. There is this file, something inside of mattermost bin, and then you've also got a Python 3 script running an SMTP Python script. So that's where it's getting those let me send you a password kind of thing, and that's it. So I think the big thing that you want to look at is this. So if I say cd mattermost, let's take a look at the directory. Directory's got notice. It's got bin, so bin's where it was at. There's data and there's config. I love configs. And this is just coming back to how to look through a box and what kind of information you want to find. It's really hard to do anything at the beginning if you don't know what you're looking for, but configs are always a big one. This config is huge. So I want to do a more on config.json. We'll just take a look. So this is running the 8065 MatterMost, so we knew that was going to happen. There is a cached encryption certificate, and we'll just run through some information there. These are all the weird settings. Oh, I have an API key, but it's not really going to work for me. Don't need to worry about that too much. All right, here's team settings. So this is that MatterMost site. I don't know what I skipped, but here's something interesting. So SQL settings, and it says your data source, mmuser : crack the admin password at TCP 127.0.0.1.3306. So this right here is going to be your username and password to log into the MySQL on this computer on 3306, so it's pretty standard. We'll go ahead and copy this password and we'll quit out of here. We'll go back to our Sublime and drop that in, maybe not. We'll try and copy this again. I don't know why it doesn't like it though. Oi. There we go. Got it like a bunch of times. That's super annoying. It just didn't want to catch up yet. All right. Just like before, I'll break it down. And we'll go ahead and copy this because we're going to use it here in a second. We're going to try and just go straight in. So MySQL, tac U for user. I don't want to use root because it's saying that the user is mmuser. And then we say, I'll give you a password. It asks for the password, paste that in, and we're in. If I say show databases, you have your normal information schema in MatterMost. So use MatterMost, and it changed that database. So if you say show tables, it's going to tell you the tables. Tons of tables, lots of information. This is a big process, but the easy one that you always want to go after is users. So we will select star for all from users, and you do need to capitalize users. It will not work otherwise. Boom. When you go in here, there are a bunch of usernames. So that's the username. And then there's hashes. So here's a password hash. Here's the username. Here's a password hash. So these are all generated ones. This one says system admin. ROOT.TXT. This is the one we want. If you come down, this should be the hash. All right, go ahead and copy that. Hopefully that worked that time. Nope. So I will say this is a frustration for me, and it's just part of using the PwnBox. All right, I'm going to open. I can't open a new tab that way. We will nano a hash, paste that in there. All right, close it out. If I say cat hash, that is that hash. If I say John hash, it's gonna go after it, and it's gonna tell me that this is a bcrypt blowfish times 3. So it knows exactly what kind of hash this is, but it's processing it through this word list. And it said in that comment from the admins, you won't find this in RockU. And that's part of that please subscribe. So we want to take a look at that. But it's variants off of please subscribe. So I'll start with that first. Clear the screen. All right, so we'll nano pass, and we'll put that please subscribe back in here, because that is going to be the root. Oof. Copy, paste. I guess I'll just do it that way. So X, save it as pass. So if I say John word list equals pass, and I want you to go after hash, it'll do it. There's only one word in there, obviously. It's please subscribe. It's not going to work. So we're kind of there where we got to figure out how we're going to mutate the password. So John has this ability to use different rule sets. Let's go ahead and sudo nano etc John. Yeah, John .conf. So in this folder is kind of all the configuration, but it's also going to have your word list rules. And it goes through different buffer sizes, things like tons of customization that's available out there. But as you start to get beyond just basic boxes, you got to learn how to use these rule sets when you're not dealing with something that's on RockU. You know, anything could be on RockU. That's pretty basic, but most of the times your boxes in the real world aren't going to be using those passwords. But you're going to be using variations sometimes. So this one has list rules for jumbo, single, all these different rules for include this list rule. All right. And toggle case, delete characters, add suffixes. This is taking it to some more almost elite speak, converting different England variations. This one's supposed to be a 2-digit suffix stuff, but it didn't really work for this box. These are list rules for extra. The section I'm going after is this one. So if you're in word list mode, so we're going to hand you a word list. These are the rules that we're going to use to twist it up. It'll try running the words as they are, and then they'll try and lowercase, capitalize, lower and capitalize, pluralize. All these functions. We're going to go to the end of this, which is right here, because this is where it goes into the NT list rules, and we're going to add our own. And this is a trial and error. If you use that jumbled list above, it did have a suffix of 2. But the generic word list that comes with John, the generic word list rules that come with John don't have that. So we'll go ahead and just put it in here. Add to num. And you're going to say, just add this on the back end. 0 through 9. 0 through 9. All right, we'll go ahead and close this out. And we'll just try and make our own password list. So if I say John, let's clean this up. So John. So if we go in here and we say John, we give it word list equals pass. I'm going to say run rules. You can say standard out, and then you can pipe that to mutated pass. So if I say cat mutated pass, you're going to have this. So this is what it looks like. This is everything. And you can make those password lists. If you know that you're going to engagement that's going to have that, you can do that. And then you can just say John, I like to say the file and then put this in. So word list equals mutated pass hash. After reviewing some of my notes, I see that the reason that none of this is working, and you don't have to sit there and watch all the stuff I did before, but the reason it's not working is because we took the wrong hash. And this is the problem with running it so large. I have a hard time seeing it. So I run it large for you guys. I love to help you guys out. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out a little bit. And this makes it a little bit easier to see the plethora of information. So here you've got the root up here, and that root is actually tied to this root, which is tied to this hash. You can also do it a little bit cleaner, I suppose, and actually search for what you're looking for. So we'll just zoom back in real quick. So if we say select everything from users where user, I think it's username, where user equals root, no, unknown column user. All right, so we got to go and look and see what this is. Username. All right, so when we do it like that, it pulls just that user. And you could even go cleaner and say, I just want the password. So select username, password from users where user name equals root, and that is the cleaner version. So when you run tools like SQL map, that's what it's going to look like. So I apologize, it was super messy. I made a mistake by not just looking for the right password hash. That's why it wasn't cracking. So if we come back here and we pull this password hash, we're going to copy this, go back over to this terminal. I will nano the hash file. We'll cut that one out. We'll paste this one in. Save it. Now, if we run the word list mutated hash or mutated pass against the hash, we did come up with one, which is please subscribe 21. And you'll hear from a lot of classes, especially in the SANS world, they talk about it. People use the quarter, the month, the year, all those kind of things are very important to try out and try and see if it is that is the variant that they're using. I showed you how to do it by making a word list first. You could bypass that whole step. So let's go ahead and I'm going to clean out the John file, the john.pot, and then we will rerun this, but instead I'll go back to using pass, and I will just say run the rule set. It's a small rule set with one password, so it ran about as fast. On this one, yeah, I mean, it's almost impossible to see how fast. But you can see this one was running 3.7. This one's 3.225. Slightly slower because it ran through all the different rules in the rule set. If you make a password list and you know what you're going after, that works. If you don't know, you can run the whole rule set and be done. All right, so that gets us this password, which we believe is an admin password. So let's go ahead and use it. I'll copy this. Let's see if we can SSH in. SSH root at delivery.htb. We'll paste that in just by doing a right click. And it doesn't work. And the reason it doesn't work is because root is not permitted on SSH. So one of the ways you can get around that is to come back here and just do a su root. And we'll drop the password in here. And it does give us root. We'll go to cd root. We'll do an ls-lia. And you'll see that the root here is available. So we'll cat root.txt. And there's our root. So the thing that I wanted to show, now that we've got root, I'm just going to do a little extra here to show you. They left us a note. So you can only access this once you got to root. So we'll go ahead and cat Note.txt. And this one is a note left from IPSec. So if you haven't watched IPSec's videos, that's where I got started. I highly recommend them. I recommend me first, but go ahead and go to IPSec. He developed this box, so he left us a little thing. And he says, I hope you enjoyed this box. The attack may seem silly, but it demonstrates a pretty high risk vulnerability I've seen several times. And then it says the inspiration for the box is here. And this is that integrity that I was talking about. So we'll go ahead and open the link. And this article is just saying how I hacked hundreds of companies through their help desk. And it's the same kind of concept where a couple of clicks, you get into one system and use it to get in the other. And he's the one that coined TicketTrick. He even said, I gave my finding a name and a logo, deal with it. I love it. So using the door, you sign up for things like Slack, Yammer, Facebook, whatever it is. You use your company email address. You get into that system, and then you go to a help desk or anything else that has a create by email feature, which in this case, the ticket system had that. This one requires you to have a GitLab. The one that we're looking at required you to have a delivery.htb. Had to come from that domain, so you were able to use it by leveraging the other system. And that's kind of where he talks about on this section in the help desk. Get into the tickets, and then there is that email, same as or similar to what we saw, where it drops the email into a ticket system. So it's a nice little trick. I applaud him for that. I thank you guys for coming out. It's not too long of a box, but I wanted to get in there and talk about some of these concepts. I want to talk about the password mutation because that was a factor in OSCP. It's something you want to get your hands on, learn a little bit more about, ways to generate your own word lists. I highly recommend Cool in this box. We didn't need it, but other boxes you generally do. And then here you just needed that browser, the console, and John. So not too bad. I love the note from IPSec. I wanted to go back and touch on one other thing. It says, keep on hacking, and please don't forget to subscribe to all the security streamers out there. That's me. That's me. Subscribe right here. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Click the bell. That way you get the notifications when I post new videos. I generally try to post them right around noon, Central Time, US. every Saturday when we've got a box here. I've had a couple requests for other boxes, other VMs that are out there. Vulnhub. Those might not line up on that Saturday schedule because the Saturday schedule is built around the retirement time for HackTheBox. So I can drop some of those boxes out there at any point in time from Vulnhub. No real timeline required. So I'll look into some of those, find boxes that might help folks out. If there's something that you're looking for, a technique, a technology, a strategy, whatever it is, if there's something you're interested in, let me know and I'll go through the entire box. I'll do it pro bono. If you ask, if you do a private request and it's something that I'm able to do, I'll go ahead and do it. So if you have any of those requests, put them in here. You've got the information right here as well of how to get a hold of me. You can hit me up on any of those avenues and I will try my best to help you guys out. Appreciate you coming out again. I'll see you next week.